Well, welcome back people to Lodge Life. This is the one but last, the penultimate one. Out here now on this second week of June. Terrible weather, been rubbish so far. It might look nice and warm, but trust me, it is not. The sun is just about to set. I'm going to blind my camera now and point it over there. There you go. Just about to go down. I think it's June the 10th or something like that now, 11th. I don't know, I can't remember dates. Dates go by too quick for me at my age. So yeah, welcome back to Lodge Life, penultimate one. I will be doing one more Lodge Life once I've left this abode of mine, because you all know it's up for sale and my buyer can't wait to get in. It's just that they have some commitments that they've got to do first. Hello, Darren. My neighbour just said hello. I don't know if you can see him there. Look, it's just through the window. I don't think you can. This one is all about a certain brand of lodge called TINGDENE. Now, TINGDENE have been in business for many, many years, but went bust November, December 2023. This affected a lot of people who bought the units, who work for them, who were owed money. And this is just a look at what happened in my eyes, and from what I can work out, what is going to happen to people who have got TINGDENE units and where it all goes from here because of warranties, etc., etc. This has some caveats, and those caveats are that I'm no solicitor, I'm no expert, and I never worked for TINGDENE, and I've never worked in this lodge industry. I have worked in manufacturing, I have been an engineer, welder, fabricator, you name it, I've done bits and bobs, been in the auto trade for over 20 years. And so yeah, mechanically I know what I'm talking about, but I've never actually worked in the lodge industry. So let's make that quite clear, because I can't guide you anyway. So let's just get that caveat out of the way now. So this is how I look at it and my outlook on TINGDENE, and no one else's, just purely mine from what I've learnt over the last 2 to 4, 5 years that I've been looking and living in lodges. Yes, if you live in a residential TINGDENE lodge, or you own a lodge like we do, which is holiday licensed, 12-month permit, but is full residential spec, or even if you own and live part-time in a holiday lodge made by TINGDENE, you've got to ask yourself, how long have you got before something goes wrong? Because this brings me to number one, and that's warranty. What is your warranty now with TINGDENE? Well, I can't see you having one, to be quite blunt. The homework and background story to this before I started this video took me a while, and whatever I say, like I say, is not to be took as if it's gold and perfectly true. I can only tell you what I've learned. What I have learned is that you haven't got a warranty anymore if you've got a TINGDENE lodge or holiday home or residential park home. The only way you may have a warranty is if the third party who sold you that unit through TINGDENE is willing to give you or continue with a form of warranty at their site. Most people won't. Most site owners know that you own the lodge, it's your property, you're just renting the ground that it sits on. So you'll be very, very lucky to find a site owner that will give you any form of warranty, although he was the third party that probably sold it to you. Because let's face it, 90% of these lodges are bought, and holiday homes are not bought direct from any manufacturer. They're bought through a third party site owner. So it was up to you who you bought it from. And I know if you've got a very good site owner who is willing to give you some form of warranty, you're going to be very, very lucky indeed. Most will just rub their hands on it and say, it's yours, not mine. So that's as I see the warranties. So no third party cover. I would guess now as well, if there's no particular manufacturing company called TINGDENE anymore, and there is not, and no factory to get parts from, where are you going to get these things? Because what they use is probably not available anymore to anybody else. Who knows? So what happens if that roof all of a sudden starts springing a big old leak? Now, very sadly, what you're reading here would probably be the kind of thing I'm talking about. And this was like March this year. This couple here have no idea how to get things repaired. And may I add, it was not answered on the forum. No one had an answer. You've got to fix it yourself. You've got to get it re-roofed yourself. What happens if the chassis has a big crack in the welds? You've got to get someone out to come and do it yourself. You won't get it under warranty. What happens if the doors need adjustment or the frames start leaking around the doors and windows? You've got to do it yourself. So these small things can be very, very big things if you're not that way inclined. A lot of people who own these things are elderly, who haven't got the tools and the manpower and the know-how to repair any lodge or holiday home. So that warranty was a good thing to have, especially for that first 2 to 5 years where a lot of it is covered, and up to 10 years even on chassis on a lot of them. Go and do your homework, go and take legal advice if you want to. I don't think it'll go very far because TINGDENE isn't there as a company anymore, so I don't know you'd be fighting, I'm sure, but that's the outlook. So that's warranty in my eyes, 0. So this brings me now to the effect financially to anybody who's got one of these things that's, you know, made and sold by TINGDENE. The values are all dictated by, again, location, what size it is, how nice you've kept it, etc. That would have certain ifs and buts about the values. I don't know, I've got a feeling that a third in value has been lost overnight when they went bust. But that's how I look at the market. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Why did it happen? Wow, well, this marketplace has always been very, very volatile. And I mean, it's a seasonal thing anyway, and has been before. I've spoke to a couple of engineers, stroke fitters who have been out on site to mine and others and had words and asked them this, that and the other, and the guys who come to put it up, and I found out quite a bit about this, the workings and what goes on to make one of these things. And one thing I've not done is a factory visit, which I wish I had done when we first bought this, but we didn't. From what I can tell you definitely is that it's not such a high-tech thing to build. What I mean by a volatile market is that it's very, very competitive. Prices, again, are dictated by buyers, by site owners, not by personal people, because personal people don't go down and buy these direct, or very rarely from the manufacturers. You buy it for a third party. So really the manufacturer has no, it does have a value, obviously, and it knows how far it can go down without making any money. But it needs to make profit just like everybody else. With it being so competitive and COVID doing what it did, when we were here on COVID, the same as I mentioned in the caravan sector, what COVID did was give these a boom time. So a lot of investors came round and a lot of money was put into new factory equipment and everything, and so people like TINGDENE, people like Swift, even the people who made ours, a lot of manufacturers went out there big time like gusto because the order books got full, because the demand went skyrocketing. Now that demand's gone. That demand started to fall in, I would say, mid-2022. Now that affected some more than others, and it definitely affected TINGDENE. Don't forget, TINGDENE also got their money and fingers and whatever into other pots, holiday park homes, but they actually own the holiday park. I'm not going to go into that side of the business because it's nothing to do with the manufacturing side. So if you want to Google that and go and have a look, please do. But I'm not going to mention that apart from to say that it has nothing to do with the manufacturing business, because it was a limited company that went under, owing all the money and losing all the jobs. Nothing to do with their park home parks or whatever. So let's clear that one up. I'll show you some reviews through 2022. And you think, with the experience that this company had, their reviews should all be 4 or 5 star. And some of the comments are really, really bad. Very, very poor indeed. Well, here they are. Now, obviously, this is Trustpilot, obviously a very trusted site. Reviews. Now, you can only put 1 star. You can't put 0 when you make a review. So this is why most of these have got 1. People are saying that if they could have put 0 stars, they would have done. But some of them are terrible. You know, they really call the company, you know, even cowards there, look. I mean, that's strong. Threatening TINGDENE homes are a disgrace, and it just goes on. And this goes back about April 2022, I believe. I think that's the earliest I could find. So things were really going downhill. And I'd have thought as a company, you'd have been looking at these and thinking, we've got to change. Something has to change. But they didn't, and I think that's what put them in the place they are now, i.e. no longer here. So yeah, really bad. And even the guys who used to come out and maintain them got flagged down as well and red flagged, saying that they never turned up on time. When they came to do something, it never got done. There was always an excuse why they never turned up. And I'm afraid that TINGDENE got a very, very bad press from, I would say, even as early as 2021. And again, that should have been a red flag to anyone buying one. But take the gamble, you should get better, listen to your customers, look at the reviews and act on it. Well, I don't believe TINGDENE ever did. And I think that's, infringed on their business a lot. Say the main reason why they went under was obviously a lack of orders. It's as simple as that. There cannot be anything else. And the finances were not being shown. What I mean by that is debts weren't being paid. If you look on what they actually owed money-wise, it's a fair few million, folks. It's all on public domain, you can see it yourselves, but I will show you some figures and everything and some of the businesses that they also nearly took under because of the money they owed them. So it was all down to finances. Now, the people who made ours, Sunseeker, I know for sure that they've had some lean times. Swift have had some lean times. Like I said from the onslaught, I'm no expert and I've never worked in the industry, so I cannot say 100% why TINGDENE went under. I've never worked for a business that has gone under, to be fair. I've been made redundant a couple of times, but the business has kept going. And I've just took the redundancy and because they've slimmed things down, but I've never worked for a company like TINGDENE that actually finished entirely on their manufacturing side. Did it affect the owners? I don't know. Limited companies normally don't. They've probably still got their big houses and big cars and full bank accounts. Who knows? That's not for me to chase and find out. It don't interest me. But you've got to ask yourself how many jobs were lost in total, some part-time, some full-time, including all the background staff and the maintenance crews and everything else. What businesses were affected? It was huge. As I scroll down this list, you can see that some of them are actually owed a vast amount of money. Others only a small amount, but if you're a one-man band or a two-van business and you are owed money of say £5,000 to £10,000, that can still put you under because certain businesses are running on very small profit margins. So TINGDENE doing what they did and not paying anybody for quite a few months didn't help anybody or anything. And even their staff, I believe, were outside the building demanding their money and their wages. Anyway, it's just amazing the businesses that they could have took under with them. Now, if any of these businesses, as I'm rolling down, have gone out of business since TINGDENE went under because they didn't get paid, please comment below. I would love to know. But it was one electrical company that actually found out that they couldn't pay the money, and they were the first to incite the ongoing demands to make TINGDENE pay. Well, it was never going to happen, and that's why it got as bad as it did. So they went under, going bust, owing millions. Anybody out there affected by TINGDENE, I do feel for you. Some people won't be affected. Let me make that quite clear. If you've got a unit already sited and it's around, let's say, 4 to 5 year old, well then that 5 years is coming up and most of the things are going to be out of warranty anyway, so no big deal. And the only thing that's still probably in warranty is your roof and your chassis, which would have been normally 5 to 10 years depending. So most folk, or a lot of folk, won't be affected by the demise of TINGDENE. I do feel it definitely has affected values. I've done some more homework and maybe if you bought a brand new unit and got it delivered and sited and then they went bust that same week, I would say I would say 25% loss, because straight away, who's going to buy that unit off you if you wanted to sell it because they've gone under, you've got no warranty left and you wanted to sell it and move on to something else? Then obviously you'd have to take a dive on it. But how much, I don't know. We are all different folks. So price accordingly. Do what you want to do if you want to sell your TINGDENE unit, and I hope you get buyers. It's no different. Me sitting in this, I'm moving from this, as you well know, but blimey, tomorrow I might get a call to say that Sunseeker have gone under. Would it affect my buyers? May do. So we're all different, but let's hope it works out for everybody. Like I said before, drop us a comment if you know any of the businesses that did go under. I'm just intrigued, that's all, to put some finalisation to this post, because I won't be mentioning TINGDENE ever again on this channel. I hope you found this one interesting. I know I did. I quite like looking into this, and I'd do the same if another company went under. This lodge and holiday home workplace and scenario that a lot of people have invested in is very, very up and down, and the manufacturing bases have very lean times, certain times of year. So I don't believe TINGDENE are going to be on their own. I think another one will go pretty soon, maybe a couple, because it's a saturated market and not enough buyers. Simple as that for new lodges at this particular time. So hope it clears it up. So I'm going to be out of it. It's a sunny day. By the time I've now finished this video, the weather's had a turn. We're into better weather. So I'm going to get out there now and get myself a cold beer and enjoy it. We'll speak to you all later. Thanks for watching, and again, subscribe. Don't forget, KK and EV, back to the electric car scene on my next post. Bye for now.